Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I wanted to jump on with this bonus session because a lot of questions came in and I wanted to have time to answer them. So here we go. And by the way, you are welcome to put any new questions that you have into the comments and I'll see them as we go and I'll be happy to answer them as we go along. So feel free to jump in with your questions. Hi, whoever's there. Yeah, put your questions in as we go if there are any that you have that I didn't get to already. So I'm going to read them off here. Understanding the forms. I'd like to understand the forms of alienation and the healthiest ways to combat them as a stepmom with a high conflict biomom who alienates. So from the point of view of a stepmom, the automatic phrase that I like to use is, "I'm sorry that your mom doesn't like me." If it's about you, if it's about your partner, your husband, you're going to have to just let him deal with that. But if it's about you, you can say, "I'm sorry that your mom doesn't like me, and I hope that someday when she knows me better, she'll be able to like me more. And in the meantime," I'm on. I'm on my live stream. Okay, I know. I hope, in the meantime, we can be friends if you want. So you can say something like that. Where did I go? Oh, I know where I am. Sorry, I'm trying to toggle two things here. Okay, the next question is how to have a better relationship with my stepson or my son, depending which partner is talking, who has anger and hate towards dad due to mom's alienation, and also to help deal with behavior outbursts. So a couple of things here. A couple of things. The first one would be the automatic phrase I suggested, which is, "You're allowed to be mad at me." I think it's really important to put that out there, to give space for this big emotional thing to happen. A lot of times it's the pent up anger and frustration that's happening, that doesn't have a way to express. The other thing I would say is that with regard to the emotional outbursts, it's important to learn how to manage those kinds of outbursts so that they're productive, so that they're healing, so that it's not just a hamster wheel of outburst after outburst, but things are being received in a way that is healing for the child. So that's where I would really, that's not something that you learn in a couple of hours on a workshop. That's where I would suggest my one-to-one coaching program, Undeletable Dad. I would suggest that you look into that if you really want to make some meaningful headway in, because that's a serious issue. Okay, I would like to know about tools and strategies to keep kids healthy going through difficult transitions between homes. So transitions is a moment that's really hard for everyone. And for so many reasons, I recommend the consistency piece of routines, rituals, and rhythm in terms of building uh, an environment for the transitions to happen in a way that that the kid can relax into them and know exactly what to expect, that it's always the same. You're having the same, dinner every, let's say you get your child every other Thursday after school or whatever. So it's always the same meal, something that they love. that the smell of your house is the same every time they come, that something nice is cooking or baking, or something that they that they like. Smells are amazing, by the way. Smells are an amazing unconscious hook. That that's true, right? You walk past a certain bakery and you're instantly transported to some moment of your childhood or some other happy time. Smells are an amazing um, hack into your unconscious. So I really love to recommend um, the trick that realtors use when you're selling a house, man. You put an apple pie in the oven, or you bake chocolate chip cookies or something. Like, that shit really works. So if it's possible to have, you don't have to be a baker. You can go to the grocery store and buy one of those Pillsbury, logs of dough, and you've got something baking, or you've got the spaghetti sauce, even the one from the jar. The spaghetti sauce is heating up on the stove, or there's a pizza in the oven. Um, like, food is a great way to go. In terms of the smell of it, that the house feels the same all the time, so that the transition feels comfortable and predictable, and not a turning their world upside down. Like, I say that this transition business, it's like living inside a snow globe, that those things that have the Santa and the snow, and it's like you're turning their world upside down, and everything is like spinning around and spinning, and by the end of a couple of days it all settles down and it's time to go back the other way. So routine, ritual, rhythm is super important for transitions. The next one was, well, how to build a stronger relationship. I think that's what we've been talking about, but that is absolutely the goal of what we're going to be working on starting next week in restorative parenting. That's what we're restoring, the better relationship. Okay. So I would love to see you in that program, because that's what we're going to do there. Ways to support my partner with his 10-year-old daughter. We're struggling to help her understand that what mom says isn't always the whole true story or the only perspective involved. So once again, I think that I did address this in the 3 days, because I saw this come in, but that it is not always the most loving thing to uh, arrange it that your child knows that their mother is lying to them. First of all, they resist it very strongly, and therefore they resist you and what you're saying. But it's not ideal that a child should believe that their parent is lying to them. That's really hard. It's really hard for them to integrate that and to feel safe in the other house. So again, we're using all of these unconscious tools, these 5 C's of subconscious communication, nonverbal communication, to get the message through that this is a safe place. You are safe here. You're loved here. You're seen here. And that's what's important, not the details of whether what mom is saying is objectively true or not. Next, how to better support my partner and his son and better understand what each of them are going through emotionally. I hope that you got that in the last 3 days here. Helping the child cope with emotional abuse, ways to stay connected and ways to feel at peace. So I actually have a recorded masterclass that I did about a year and a half ago, called Child-Friendly Tools for Coping with a Toxic Parent. And it was about an hour and a half of strategies and tips for helping your child to stay grounded and emotionally healthy when they are obliged to still have to live with or even visit a parent who is toxic in some way, who weaponizes them against you. So it had suggestions and tips around mindfulness and meditation practices that you can teach your kids, brain gym, the ESR, emotional stress release activity that I've shared with a lot of you, routines to set up in your home, as I was talking about before, to kind of create a bubble of calm and safety, at least at your end, and essential oils. Some suggestions for essential oils, which are, again, we're working with that smell faculty. That's such an amazing hack into your unconscious brain. But it really, essential oils are great for helping kids to manage their feelings, especially when you're not there to help them, so that we use these oils, they get familiar with them when you are able to help them to create that safe space. And then they can have those at home and crack those open when they want to instantly reconnect with that feeling of safety. So I hope that that makes sense. I actually really love essential oils. I use them a lot in my natural health practice. And there are kits that you can buy for kids, and there are individual, obviously you can buy individual oils that work really well for you. But in that child friendly tools webinar, I did lay out a few specific ones that I like to use. So I'll make sure to include the link for that webinar. If you want to buy it, it's $97. And I will put a link to that in the Facebook group. And I'll make sure that it's in the units as well, so that you can find it. Okay, where were we here? Because I jumped ahead. How to regain the relationship we had in the past. So if it's a stepmom speaking about the relationship with your stepchild that you had in the past, the very first thing to do is get out of the way. And I know that's so counterintuitive, to be trying to get closer to somebody by backing away from them. But this is exactly what I'm talking about, that none of the regular rules apply. This is a unique, brand new situation, and we're having to learn brand new tools. So getting out of the way is the number one way to regain the relationship you had in the past with your stepchild. I can promise you it's been working for me for 15 years. Every time there's a problem, I get out of the way and it sorts itself out. If it's dad who wants to regain the relationship he had in the past with his own kids, I would say get into my restorative parenting program. That's exactly what we're going to work on. Okay, we get started next week. I would love to limit. How can I limit the energy biomom can have in our home? So limiting the uh, the energy that biomom can have in your home and on your relationship is exactly what we talked about yesterday. It's about unhooking for dad, right? Um, it's about unhooking for that, from that connection that you still have with her. And the number one tool for that is the co-parenting app. Um, just, I can't recommend it highly enough. And if you feel a lot of reservation about using that because it's going to rock the boat, then you have to go into the worst case scenario piece that we did yesterday. You have to dig into that and work on it, because it's not going to stop until you can break that psychic connection, that toxic connection that she still has with you. Once again, in terms of limiting the energy that biomom can have, that also comes when you as a dad build your confidence as a parent, as you get more and more into the ability to strike the pure tone of fatherhood, to embody the Sigma dad energy. It will be easier and easier for you to cut the cords that are still connected to her. And once again, get into the restorative parenting program. How to support my husband with the alienation that comes from his ex and have better transitions from her home. I think I already talked about the transitions just a moment ago. The proper way to deal with the situation of not seeing my daughter. So I'm assuming that this is a dad. And well, the next one too, tips to overcome years of alienation and mother refuses to respond. She has kidnapped them and we've been in court for 6 years. This is devastating. It really, really is. I do have a series of YouTube videos. There are 5 videos in the Undeletable Dad channel on YouTube, exactly called What to Do If You Lose Contact with Your Kids. And obviously, I wish that it were a magic wand to say, here's how you get contact back. Obviously, this is a kind of kidnapping, and certainly it should be treated that way. It should not be, this is not a domestic argument. This is a kind of kidnapping. So one would hope that you'd be getting some support in the courts, but there are a lot of strategies there for how to, different ways to try to maintain contact with your kids. And I would still suggest, even in that kind of situation, that working with a co-parenting app is a really smart idea, because the app is a court-approved, court-ready document that all family courts are aware of, and they all support, encourage, sometimes even mandate the use of a co-parenting app. So that if you have set up an app for your ex to use, and you've sent instructions by email, by telephone message, and by registered mail, that all of them you can prove that you did, you can just start using it. And if she's not responding, that is evidence of her unwillingness to be a cooperative co-parent in any way. It's evidence, it's admissible in court. And you can continue to, email or phone or whatever and say, I've sent several messages in the app, you're not responding, whatever. But, the court will understand that this is a reasonable request of communication, and she's refusing to participate. And that speaks to her attitude of being uncooperative. It will eventually when you go back to court. So, like, as long as you have robustly shown that she has all the information she needs to sign up, and that your end of things is polite, cooperative, cordial, whatever it has to be in the context of being really pissed off because she kidnapped your kids, yeah, you are amassing evidence that will be useful to you in court. You also want to be continually either writing emails or sending letters, sending packages. Again, use the registered mail if you need to. If you don't have any way of contacting anybody, you can be writing emails to your kids that you just send to a file that you keep, because one day they are going to come around. It might be a really long time from now, but this will be a treasure trove for them. And it will really give them some very valuable insight into what was going on during the time that their mom was lying to them about you. So, like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this kind of story, um, where, it was 10 years or 20 years of alienation, and how much it would mean to a person to be able to revisit their childhood and read letters from their dad that they were never allowed to receive. Like, holy crap. So, yes, it is a good idea to do those kind of things, and to keep them however you like to do that, paper, letters, or emails, or whatever. How to deal with the fact that my partner's authority or care over the kids is always being minimized by the bio mom. So, first of all, I would say, as the stepmom, you have to let go of that. It's hard to see this happening in your home. It's hard to see your your partner's authority and care being minimized, but it's actually, I want to say, none of your business to change it. You can work on yourself in all the kind of self-care ways that we do to help you to let go of things that you can't control, and that would be one of them. But from the dad's point of view, um, he also has to let go of allowing her to influence in any way the way he parents his kids. The message is, this is my house. I'm your dad. We have different rules in my house and in your mom's house, and that's okay. I'm your dad, and this is how it is here. And it actually doesn't matter what they want to say about it or what mom wants to say about it. You have to, as a parent, you have to get to a place where you are not accepting any feedback about your parenting, certainly not from her or from the kids. So once again, I would love to see you in the restorative parenting program. That's exactly what we're going to work on. How to minimize the damage of things Biomom says to my stepdaughter about our house. Once again, I'm going to point you to the child-friendly tools for coping with a toxic parent. Um, it's actual tools that you can use to help the child deal with this kind of situation. So that's all the questions that I had, unless anybody wants to throw something in right now. Um, I'm excited about this last 3 days. I think it was amazing. I'm going to be sending out a little feedback questionnaire because I would love to know what you thought about it and whether it was helpful. And I'm really encouraging every one of you to consider signing up for the restorative parenting online program. It's going to be 5 Zoom sessions like this, about an hour long each. And I'm going to get them all in before Christmas. And if you really want to turbocharge the benefit of that program, you can upgrade to a VIP package and get 3 months of unlimited Voxer support from me personally. That means I'm answering your personal questions, however many there are, over Voxer for 3 months so that I can help you put all of these things into place in your family. And as you do them, and then your kids respond in some way and you're not sure what to do next, that's where we interact and I walk you personally through those situations. So dads, you know you have a big hairy problem that is not going away, and it's a serious problem. It's an expensive problem, certainly where we're talking about continuing uh, any kind of family court issues, right? This is going to keep going on. It's going to keep happening, like, almost forever, until you make it stop. The court is not going to make it stop. The court is interested, actually, in your ongoing conflict because, I mean, that it generates generates money, right? It's a factory of money, the family court system. So until you learn how to control this situation on your own, you are going to be continually vulnerable to being victimized by that very system. And you are not going to be giving your kids what they need most from you. So, this is why I do what I do, because I think that it's time that we stopped allowing generation after generation of kids to be not fully parented, to be not receiving what they need from their dad, which is, what you get from your dad are the codes that you need to move into adulthood in a fully functional way. That's what you get from your father. And every one of you have this in you. And it does not take very much to bring you into the place where you can be able to provide that. So, as I said before, this is a very inexpensive way of um, getting to work with me, and I think that I'm offering something that I don't see anywhere else. This is for the price of a few counseling sessions, you can have this restorative parenting program. And it would be a very wise investment to spend $1,000 and get me fixing your problems for you for 3 months. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than jumping into a one-to-one container with me for $24,000. But even that is well worth it in terms of the return on investment. When we're looking at what you paid for your divorce, what you pay for custody, what you might be paying to get your kids back, and what you're going to pay for all of them to be in therapy. $24,000 is actually a really good deal to get this fixed, to cut off the possibility of future entanglements like this. So let me hear from you. All the links that you need are in the Facebook group. And thank you for participating in this. Please watch out in your emails for an email from me, because I would love to hear your feedback. Okay? And I'll see you